Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Ram Country Conversations. Brian Roth, along with Mike Brohard, and talking some Colorado State men's golf on the show here this week with Christian Newton, men's golf coach, as they get set for the Mountain West Conference Championships here this weekend. All right, hey, Christian, thanks for joining us. And let's start with the showing in Provo last week, the Ping BYU Cougar Classic. You guys take fifth in that tournament, and well, I know you had to feel good about that, especially this close to the Mountain West Conference Championships.
Right. There were a lot of good things that happened down there. It's an event that the team's been successful in over throughout the years. I think maybe won in Provo 5 or 6 times. Similar altitude, similar climate, similar grasses. So it's somewhere where we've been comfortable. And yeah, the guys looked a lot better. I started seeing some better shots. We started making some putts, and then slowly but surely the smiles started coming back. So overall, a nice 3 or 4 days there in Utah.
Yeah, Colorado State as a team shoots 19 under par. They finished fifth in the 20-team field. And of course, now you do have the Mountain West Conference Championships coming up. We'll get to that in a second. But I know you and I were talking before we went on air here, and your team hadn't necessarily played great golf the previous 2-3 tournaments leading into the BYU Classic. Do you kind of think that maybe that BYU tournament can get you guys turning the corner a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that with golf, you're a lot of times you're only one swing away from being there, and so that was something to get some confidence going. We'd struggled big time in those last three events, but those last three events were against quality, top-notch fields, and so if you go there and you don't have your best stuff, you're just going to get smoked by those teams, and so it's a good reminder of how competitive Division I golf is and how fine the margins are. So, BYU may be right what the doctor ordered, for us to get headed back in the right direction right before conference.
Christian, your team came into the season with high hopes, grand expectations. Do you think in some ways early on in the year they started to put a little too much pressure on themselves, and that's where you saw some of the results in the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I think that can happen. I think anytime you start to struggle in golf, you're going to start to try too hard, and that's pretty natural and a normal thing to happen. And I do think, like I've said before, this is as talented as group as we've ever had. We had it all right out in front of us. I don't know. I think things kind of started going sideways a little bit, and yeah, it's easy to lose your confidence and easy to start questioning and doubting things. And we met after the Arizona State tournament and tried to figure out how we were going to put our best foot forward. And I think we're headed in the right direction now.
We talked about the BYU tournament and the confidence you probably got out of it. And I know the players felt like they're coming into this tournament feeling pretty good. If they just focus not on what they have to do to advance in postseason and just focus on what their game is, this tournament could be really successful for you.
Yeah, we tried to stress that they don't have to do anything special or try harder or anything. We've beat all these teams in the conference at some point in the year. We've finished second in this event 3 years in a row. The New Mexico did the same thing that we're trying to do a couple years ago. They were ranked outside the number and went in there and knocked off everybody and stole a bid. So, we're just as capable of doing that as anybody else.
Christian Newton joining us here on the program. We talk some Colorado State men's golf with the Mountain West Conference Championships coming up down in Tucson this Friday and Saturday. A few more questions before we let you go, Christian. Talk to us a little bit about the career of A.J. Ott. I mean, here's a Fort Collins native, decides to come to Colorado State, has had a terrific career, got an extra year here to come back with the pandemic, won a couple of tournaments earlier this year. I mean, what a way to kind of cap off a remarkable career.
Yeah, AJ's been awesome, and I've said it many times. He's the definition of stalwart Ram, and he really is. He's a local kid, and he loves CSU, and he's meant so much to our program. Really, he was kind of a catalyst to start really for me to turn things around back when he was a freshman. The foundation that he's laid, and the culture that he's helped create. AJ is such a hard worker and does everything in his power to get better every day. And now that's become part of our culture because he's one of the older guys, and he's who our freshmen and our sophomores are looking up to now. And hopefully for years to come, that'll be part of our culture. Is a hardworking blue collar kid like AJ. So we couldn't thank him enough for all he's done. And we were fortunate enough to get him back for another semester, and it'll be fun to watch to see what his professional golf career looks like. We'll be pulling for it.
One of the neat things about the BYU tournament is you had teammates in the same pairings. Oscar and Rasmus play together. They're both from Sweden. Oscar said they spoke Swedish for 12 straight hours. It was the most he'd ever spoken. And they like to speak Swedish in front of you. Do you understand what they're saying, or do they know what not to say around you?
No, I have no idea what there's. I know there's a couple of keywords that you shouldn't say, but in general, I don't have any idea what they're saying, and I trust those guys. I think they were just enjoying the company and being around each other. If you would imagine what it would be like to be in another country and not be able to communicate with English, I think it was relaxing and nice for them to stroll down the fairways and be able to just talk Swedish and enjoy that. So it's kind of a unique setup for that event.
All right, final thought before we let you go, Christian. Okay, the Omni Tucson National Resort is the course for the Mountain West Conference Championships. You said you guys have been down there a bunch. You could kind of give us an idea. How does this course set up for your team?
You're right. We've been down there a bunch. I would imagine AJ's probably played it close to 30 times now as a senior. The senior tour played there, so it's a high level, big time golf course. In general, you're going to get a lot of wedge opportunities, and making the putts are going to be the ones that win, and that's usually how it goes down there.
You bet, Christian. Thanks so much for the time, and best of luck down in Tucson coming up this weekend.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Take care.
Good luck, Christian.
All right. That's Christian Newton, men's golf coach at Colorado State, as they travel down to Tucson for the Mountain West Championships Friday and Saturday. For the coach, Mike Brohard and Brian Robb. Thanks for watching Ram Country Conversations.